Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a week-long edition of Sir Hunt on X, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, in the United States. Hope everyone had themselves a wonderful weekend and a wonderful 26th of May, the calendar year 2025. So we salute to all the veterans on Memorial Day who served for us. Thank you for your service. It's uh, one of those humbling things for a person like myself who always gives tributes and salutes to those who served in the armed forces for whatever they did. I can go on, but I can't put two words together for them. I'll acknowledge one thing Cincinnati does very well is acknowledge the veterans who serve. They do it at Reds games. They do it at the NFL games. They do it at the soccer games. They do it here very well, and they deserve nothing but props. And I commend the city of Cincinnati for doing it all weekend long during the Reds Cubs series. The stand-on announcer John Sajak brought it up during one of the Reds telecasts and done it emotionally. So salute to those who served on this Memorial Day, the 26th of May of the calendar year 2025. And it's nothing but a sense of gratitude that they deserve it. All right, hope everyone had themselves a wonderful day today. I'm going to go ahead and get right down to it. Let's start with a wild scene that took place last night in Atlanta. It was a soccer game between FC Cincinnati and against the opponent who was Atlanta United. Basically, story of this game was a no-show by FC Cincinnati where they got pounded 4-2. Game wasn't even as close as the score indicated because Atlanta could have just done more if they wanted to. But the underlying story is a supposed cheap shot by one of the Atlanta players on the FC Cincinnati standout defender, Nick Hagglund. And it's something that basically has sparked a lot of rage among FC Cincinnati fans and the city of Cincinnati as well. Let me just remind people that I'm not one to partake in officiating because I think it's just absolutely silly. And there's a lot of it here in Cincinnati, which I'll touch on at the end of the show. But I just find it eyebrow raising that something kind of a cheap shot like that gets you the response that you got at the end of the day. And that's what happened with the situation with FC Cincinnati and Atlanta. I mean, something should have been called. I know it's that, but I won't go as far as what some of the Cincinnati fans here are doing because they continue to carry themselves as like the least moral when it comes to human beings on this earth again. Bengals fans do the same thing when it comes to officiating, and we have the same thing here with FC Cincinnati fans who continue to conduct themselves in the most despicable and degrading manner when it comes to one missed call of this magnitude that basically ignores the big picture, which was FC Cincinnati no-showed last night in Atlanta and just got pounded. I mean, there's nothing controversial about it. I mean, the only controversy is why didn't you show up to beat Atlanta? I mean, you were rolling. You had a chance to take first place in the Eastern Conference. You had laid an egg in Atlanta against an Atlanta team who hadn't had a win, I don't know how long. And you just rolled over to Atlanta United, and they did anything and everything they wanted. Yes, it was unfortunate what happened to Nick Hagglund with that hit. I mean, I get it. But is it worth complaining about? No, it's not. Why? Because that was their call, and they stood by it. You got a problem with them standing by it? Take it up with them personally. Don't take it out on the internet because a lot of guys in Cincinnati are too hooked on telephones these days. That's a problem. So that takes care of that one. I mean, get well soon, Nick Hagglund. You're the key piece of the defensive side. And that defense, after you got hurt, just got exposed and just taken to the woodshed. I mean, you guys had a chance to fight for first place, and you blew it. Let's see what happens moving forward. Got a tough one against Dallas, where it's the return of Luciano Lucho Acosta to Cincinnati this Wednesday night. Hopefully we can get back on the right track and get a win on that one. Boy, I swear I hate talking about Cincinnati sports fans these days. Every time something happens with Cincinnati sports fans, what is the only thing on their mind? The referees. It happens with Bengals fans, happens with Reds fans and umpiring, and now we have it here with FC Cincinnati fans with soccer officiating. And I said, this is the most degrading thing I've ever encountered. Living and being a part of it says a lot about the morale of Cincinnati and Cincinnati sports fans. I can go on and on another show, but I have too much to talk about tonight, so I'm going to leave it at that. And speaking of guys that are just not holding up their own, we're headed to New York. And this is something I told everyone when this happened in the offseason, and nobody wanted to listen. The $765 million man, Juan Soto, is just laying an egg right now. You know what happened when the Mets had Bobby Bonilla on their roster? When he got all that dollars and how he just plummeted? We're living that in 2025 over there in New York. Same team. This time it's Juan Soto. I mean, Juan Soto, I'm pulling up these numbers here. The guy's only hitting 236, 8 home runs, 24 RBIs, only 45 hits. What a way to spend $765 million for an investment like that. The only luck at it is you're in second place in a division where now with a Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back, the Braves are going to be coming on, and they're going to be coming on real strong. They've been playing much better lately, and I expect them to find a way to overtake the Mets, especially when you have a $765 million anchor that's bringing the team down, and that's what's going to catch up to him at the end of the day. We know why he went from one New York team to the other. It has nothing to do with family. It doesn't have to do with security. It doesn't have to do with anything else. He had 765 million reasons to go from one New York team to another New York team. And if the Mets wanted to pay all that much, they did. And now they're getting the results. Wait about 2 to 3 years, and the people in New York are going to be calling for his head if they haven't already. Because I warned you guys, when you signed him to that dollar figure, this was going to happen. And it is. I mean, the guy's been basically a mediocre hitter. I mean, his highest in his career, I think he hit higher than 270 at one point, maybe 280. I can't remember. But you're paying $765 million to a player who's basically been a mid-level hitter, who basically is basically a middle of the pack fielder. He's not all that great. And no, not to mention, the only reason I got him was because you wanted to outbid the New York Yankees. Okay, the New York Yankees basically said, you can go ahead and have him. Because look at the Yankees right now. They're in first place in their division. I mean, they're just fine without him. There's your $765 million investment in Juan Soto. You know why he went there? He wanted the bag, and he got it. He doesn't care about anything else anymore. And everybody who thought they was going to get us something special out of this guy, maybe their new version of Barry Bonds or whatever, yeah, it's not going to end well for you guys. I'll tell you that, because $765 million for a 236 hitter, not a good investment. Give it about another couple years, and you'll be wanting this guy out of New York real quick. And good luck trying to find a team that's going to take on that contract, because nobody is. For a guy who's a mid-level player, and that's being nice calling this guy a mid-level player, because calling Juan Soto a mid-level player is actually complimenting him, because he's not. Especially not a guy who's worth $765 million for 15 years. That's the problem. But Yankees fans, be happy. He went to the dark side, because now he's living in the dark side and he's playing on the dark side, because that's what's going on in New York right now. Plain and simple. I swear, those New York fights are going to be something else. I mean, the Yankees are probably having the time of their lives without him. I mean, they're doing just fine without him, so it is what it is. Now, touch on some NFL stuff before I get to the main event. Over the weekend, 2 of the top 3 draft picks were signed. It was Cam Ward, the top quarterback prospect, signing with Tennessee, and Abdul Carter, the standout defensive end, and eyes of many, myself included, pound for pound, the best player in the NFL draft. They both were signed. Cam Ward's going to be in the development phase, obviously, because Tennessee is just in a mess, and is going to be in a mess for a while. It's going to take a while to get that thing together, but they have their foundation now with Cam Ward at their quarterback. A couple of decent targets to throw to, especially a guy like Calvin Ridley. But they got to have Larry Moore as their left tackle, the guy who was a turnstile over at Pittsburgh for the last several years, and Tennessee just broke the bank to sign him. Good luck. Just hope you don't get that guy killed over there, ruin his career in the heartbeat, because that was a terrible and a questionable signing by the Tennessee Titans, signing more from the Steelers to try and protect Cam Ward's blind side. That's not going to end well if that's the signing he was looking for. Good luck with that one. Now to Abdul Carter over with the Giants. I said pound for pound, this guy was the best player in the draft. And I thought the Browns screwed up by not taking this guy when he was available. I mean, he was there. You could have had him. He didn't want him. So we know what they did with the trade with Jacksonville. Jacksonville winds up getting Travis Hunter. I don't know what the hubbub with him is. Cleveland gets an extra first-round draft pick. But I thought they blew it because I thought had they gotten Abdul Carter opposite Myles Garrett, that defense would have done damage. But now he's going to the Giants. Their defense was solid last season. You already have Kayvon Thibodeau over there. You put him on that defensive front with what they have. I think that defense is going to be better. Now, of course, the offense is going to leave plenty to be desired, but with signing both Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and drafting Jackson Dart. I mean, what are you going to do at the quarterback position? I mean, the only caveat you have is you have Malik Neighbors to throw to, who's a top 10 receiver already in the NFL after one season. But, they signed Carter. That defense is going to be tough. It's going to keep them in bowl games. What they're going to do at offense with those quarterback signings and the draft, who knows? But that side leaves plenty to be desired. The only thing the Giants have going for them on that side of the ball is one of the premier receivers going into the second year in Malik Neighbors, who just shined brilliantly in his rookie year. Had some highlight reel catches that would make Randy Moss proud. But that's the only thing they have on offense. Good luck with the quarterback position over there, the Giants. Your defense is set for the next several years with Abdul Carter signed. But your offense, you have work to do outside of Malik Neighbors, who's a standout receiver. I don't even know who the heck your offensive line is because you got whatever quarterback killed last season. I don't even know who the running back is. But good luck. You're still going to finish fourth place in the NFC East behind Dallas, Philly, and Washington, no particular order. And you're going to probably pick in the top 5 again. And hopefully you can probably put something together to build an offense because you guys are a laughing stock right now, just as bad as the other team in New York. That's how it is right now with the Giants. I mean, Abdul Carter can get that defense on track. Their defense is going to be set for a while, very solid. But offensively, you guys have work to do. And some good news actually out of Detroit this week. I thought I'd touch on this. I mean, we're feel-good stories. Aidan Hutchinson, one of the premier edge rushers in the league when he's healthy, cleared for full practice, according to him. I mean, it'd be excellent if they can get him back because that defense and that playoff loss to Washington just got taken to the woodshed and then some. I'm not going to say it's not solely his fault. I mean, that defense was just banged up, especially in the secondary where they were basically trying to go to the recycling bin to find 7th string recycling bottles or something to play the secondary position. But they couldn't stop the standout Jaden Daniels, who just had a field day on that playoff game when Washington just scored on every possession imaginable to Detroit. But Hutchinson, if he comes back and is close to what he was before the injury, would be a huge boost for the Lions defense. They're talking about adding another edge rusher. Name thrown out there is obviously Trey Hendrickson of Cincinnati. Who knows what's going on there with Hendrickson in Cincinnati? I've touched on the story enough. I'm not even going to get into it. Too much drama for me. But if Aidan Hutchinson can come back to what he was before the injury, and it's possible with how medical is today. If he can come back to what he was before the injury, huge boost for the Detroit Lions defense. I mean, that defense was cooking before he went down. And of course, it didn't help when you had some of the premier secondary guys on that roster just getting hurt all over the place. Hopefully they can get some stability on that defensive side and do something because when they were healthy, they were as good as anyone. I mean, but good to see Aidan Hutchinson come back, work hard, keep pushing at it. If he comes back to Detroit here soon, as he says he is, huge boost. Stories like that is what you like to talk about. I mean, hopefully he gets back soon. And of course, the hot topic over the last several off seasons, and was again this off season, was of course the so-called banishment of or at least the attempted banishment of the so-called tush push. And Eagles running back Saquan Barkley called the whole thing lame, and he is not wrong. Let me say this again, because there's some people who still have a problem with the tush push not being panned. You have 10 yards. It's first and 10 yards. When you get the ball, you got 10 yards to the next first down marker. Or inside the goal line, first and goal, whatever, to the touchdown, inside the opponent's 10. If you allow an offense to get to that point, where it's 3rd and short, 4th and short, and they want to use the tush push, it's not the tush push that's the problem. It's the defense allowing the offense to get to that point to where they can use the tush push and get the first down or the touchdown. I mean, if you can't stop it at that point, you're getting what you deserve at the end of the day. I don't care who's on the roster. I don't care who the defensive coordinator is. I don't care who the head coach is. I don't care who the team is. You let it get to that point, you deserve to get burned in the end. Because you have 10 yards to stop an offense and you can't do it, shame on you. I mean, as the Cincinnati Bengals, they couldn't even stop a field of Casper the Friendly Ghost in that roster last season. I mean, they got what they deserve. That's all you have to do is watch them. You let it get to that point, you deserve to get burnt. You deserve to have the markers moved or give up the touchdown in the goal line situation. That's what happens. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, there's still a lot of sparks all over the place, but Saquon Barkley is right. The whole thing is lame. Teams that have played him know they're going to do it, and they can to stop it, but they can't stop it. Why? Because the Eagles have the personnel and the play calling to get it done, and that's why they're successful. If it was to be banned, guess what? The Eagles will still find a way to be successful in short yardage situations because they have the personnel to get the job done. One of the better offensive lines, of course, Saquon Barkley, one of the 2 or 3 top running backs in the whole National Football League. Jalen Hurts, a top 5 NFL quarterback with Mahomes and Allen and Jackson and Jaden Daniels. So they have the personnel to get it done. If you wanted to ban it, have at it. But guess what? They're still going to find a way to be successful. And if people have a problem with it, too bad. Might as well accept it. That's what Saquon Barkley personally said, and I agree with him. You can't get it. If you can't stop them to where you have to get off the field on a 4th down or third down or 4th down, if you can't stop them, you deserve what you get in the end of the day. Because if it gets to that point and you can't hold them, too bad. I mean, you know how to hold someone on the 3rd and 4th situation. Look at the AFC title game, how the Kansas City Chiefs prevented Josh Allen from getting the 1st down marker. That's how you do it. And Josh Allen didn't do no push. He tried to do the over the top, which backfired on him. And I'm sorry, Buffalo fans, that was not a 1st down because you saw it on TV. Doesn't mean it was a 1st down. It's just the television angle view from the real view is 2 different things. And guess what? That was not a 1st down. The Chiefs stopped you, but you have yourself to blame for that loss. It was not because of that play. But Saquon Barkley was right. The attempt to ban the tush push was just absolutely lame and stupid. And I think everybody should just move on with it. I mean, probably at some point, they'll probably be brought up in more NFL owners meetings, but we know how NFL owners meetings go. They're just a bunch of whining babies because they don't know how to stop things the right way. So they rely on Commissioner Roger Goodell to do their dirty work for them. And Roger Goodell wanted to do it, but the other, I think it's 22 of the 32 teams said the tush push can stay. I forgot who the 10 teams that voted against it. Actually, 3 of them were surprises to me. But it can stay. If you have a problem with it, stop it. Don't let the offense get into 3rd and short or 4th and short situations. Stop it before it gets to that point. That's the issue. If you can't stop it to that point, then you're getting what you deserve. And I don't feel sorry for you. Everyone cries about the stupidest stuff in the NFL these days, I swear. Back in the day, this stuff wasn't even discussed. It's basically you put your butt on the field and you just get the job done. What happened to those days? Now everybody wants rules in their favor to try to get a competitive edge. Long story, and it's a long time ago that when NFL games matter like that. Ugh. Now to a bit of an anniversary that I want to touch on a little bit. Everybody, of course, this always sparks a little bit of a hot topic with the NBA Hall of Fame stature. So I just want to bring this one up. It was 23 years ago today at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. It was Game 4 of the 2002 Western Conference Finals between the Sacramento Kings and the Los Angeles Lakers. We know the story about this one. The Kings had the game in control. The Lakers kept chopping and chopping until the last possession of the game. Everybody knows what happened. Kobe was driving, misses a layup. Shaq missed, another miss. The bat out to a wide open Robert Horry, one of the premier clutch shooters in NBA history. The game-winning 3-pointer at the buzzer to even the series at 2-2. I bring this up because there's always this hubbub because Robert Horry has 7 rings and whether he's a Hall of Famer, and he has some all-time historical clutch moments. He had a clutch one, a game one against the Spurs when he was a member of the Houston Rockets. He had a game winner there. Had a couple of them throughout the 95 finals against the Orlando Magic. Had, of course, this one, the Game 3 clincher in Philadelphia to ice the Game 3 of the NBA Finals against the Sixers. And, of course, the game winner in Game 5 of the 2005 NBA Finals for the Spurs against the Pistons. And everybody's saying because of his rings and because of what he's done, the guy's a bona fide Hall of Famer. Robert Horry just basically shot it down, says, I don't have anything to put me in the Hall of Fame for. I mean, I'm just a role player. Robert Horry was a perfect example of a guy when he's called on, he answered the bell. The right time and the right place and the right situation. It happened here again 23 years ago in the Staples Center of Los Angeles. The three-pointer at the buzzer straight away after the offensive rebound got batted out to him and he just shot it right in the face of Vlade Divac. And it was basically the ball game. Actually, you can say that was probably the series because even at 2-2, Sacramento goes on to win Game 5. LA wins Game 6 under funky circumstances. And probably a surreal Game 7 that went to overtime where it was a great back-and-forth battle between the two premier franchises, actually two of the premier franchises, at least in the Western Conference at the time, which was the Shaq and Kobe Lakers and the Chris Webber Sacramento Kings. We know those Kings were just fun to watch. I mean, kudos to a terrific series. You know, maybe an all-time great series in NBA history at the time. Because we talk about the Lakers and the Kings, and even at that time, you could throw in the Tim Duncan San Antonio Spurs. It's like whoever met in those series was your de facto NBA champion because the Eastern Conference was so far behind the West at that time. When that was so top-heavy, the Western Conference was whoever got out of the West was basically just gift-wrapped the NBA championship. So it was an epic moment. The batted ball out to Robert Horry. The second you knew Robert Horry caught the ball and then just shot it that wide open as time was expiring, you knew it was going in. Even Robert Horry knew it. I mean, Vlade Divac had the most ridiculous quote after the game saying the guy got luck and doesn't have to have the skills to hit a game winner like that. Robert Horry counters him saying, "I did it in my career. Someone tell the guy to go read a newspaper." What a clapback and what an iconic moment in NBA playoff history. Everybody's going to talk about whether Robert Horry is a Hall of Famer or not. Some people say he is. Some people say he isn't. He basically said, "I'm not." I think the smart ones know he's not, despite the 7 rings with 3 teams, you know, the 2 with Houston, 3 with LA, and 2 more with San Antonio in 05 and 07. But a lot of clutch moments because he was a perfect example of a guy who, when was called upon to step up at the right time, he did it time after time after time. That's why he's got the nickname of Big Shot Rob for the longest time. I mean, even go back to his college years at Alabama. What a terrific clutch player Robert Horry was. I mean, he brought more to the table than just being able to hit clutch shots. I mean, he's a solid, versatile defender, could guard all 3 frontline positions at the 6'10" frame, quick enough to handle the small forwards, somewhat strong enough to handle the big men, but he was 6'10" with a lanky wingspan, could do more than just hit the clutch shot when it mattered, brought more to the table. He was more skilled than people thought. Just a solid player was Robert Horry. Now to the world of boxing. And I have to go at my English followers here for a minute. Over the weekend, everyone got the hubbub over Moises Itauma, who just obliterated Mike Balogun in 1 round. The guy's a hot prospect. He is. I'm not going to dispute that because I saw him twice before this. I was on a couple of shows over there with England, telling how the skill level of what Moises Itauma was. And he's immensely skilled and immensely talented for a kid that age. But there are a lot of people who thinking he should have gotten a title shot before this fight so he could break Mike Tyson's record of being the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. Slow down, everybody. Guy hasn't done anything of significance yet. The guy was just gift-wrapped a ranking, but that's because of how political the governing bodies is, to be Alexander Usyk's #1 contender. Anybody with a brain knows that fight's not going to be made anytime soon because you're basically going to kill Moises Itauma's career if you're going to put him in the ring with Alexander Usyk. Mike Tyson was the exact same way. I mean, he got all the knockouts. I mean, blasting guys out in 1 round. It got everyone on the wow factor, on the hubbub. Everyone was saying, "Oh my God, look at this guy. Mike Tyson, the greatest ever." When Mike Tyson was finally taking the distance, and even after he won the titles, guys were starting to figure Mike Tyson out little by little. And of course, we know what happened when he met James Buster Douglas February 11th, 1990. So everyone, when it comes to Moises Itauma, pump the brakes a little bit. He's the best heavyweight prospect right now. No brainer. I'll give you that. Trying to get him to chase records at age 20 when he hasn't even been tested or pushed by anyone at this point, it's where everyone needs to stop. Because we see what happens when fighters build their records like this. They get the wow factor. They bring everyone to your attention with their performance, and you get glued in. I get it. You get glued into a guy like that, and how he performs, because boxing, it's not like the NFL and the NBA where basically it's W's and L's. In boxing, it's more of a wow as to how you do it. And I get Moises Itauma has been a wow factor since he first started in the professional ranks. I mean, kudos to him. He's a standout. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to put him on anything or any pedestal yet until I see him pushed. Yes, he got a ranking to fight for one of the belts held by Alexander Usyk. Anybody with a brain know that fight's not going to happen for at least the next 2 to 3 years, assuming Alexander Usyk continues on. But I think he should retire after he beats the fake heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois. But Moises Itauma is on the right path. But let's slow down with the hype a little bit, because a lot of you guys are just jumping up out of your seats, wanting this guy to be the youngest heavyweight champ to break Mike Tyson's record. Mike Tyson was brought along perfectly when he first came out, and basically it was at a time when the heavyweight division was more suited to him, because it started to hit a transition period before he came in and he took over. Right now, there's still guys like Alexander Usyk in that division. I mean, if you guys think Moises Itauma is all of a sudden going to take out Alexander Usyk, you got another thing coming. We've seen what happens when young fighters are rushed to fight veteran champions. I mean, I could point to many of them. I mean, the perfect one maybe is Mildred Taylor when he fought Julio Cesar Chavez a little too soon. Forget the controversy of that one for a minute. But let's slow down with Moises Itauma. Let him grow. Let him develop. His time is coming. He's doing his thing. And it's only a matter of time before we start talking to this guy in the upper echelon of the heavyweight division. But for now, relax a little bit. The guy's sensational. I've seen him twice before this one. And I'll admit, very unique fighter out of the southpaw stance, because the heavyweight divisions had very, very few southpaws ever. He could be something unique for that division. Very, very quick-handed, perfectly timed punch that floored Balana down and out in the first round. He is the next big thing, but pump the brakes in terms of wanting this guy to break records, because he's still got a ways to go on that one. I swear, sometimes the blessing and the curse in the sport of boxing is the hype jobs that we have. You know, you get to a certain point, okay, you want this guy to have everything right. Problem is, we've seen fighters, when they take the next step too soon, they're irrelevant. I could point to many examples of this. Now, speaking of guys that made their moment, one took place 58 years ago today at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Actually, it's 58 years ago Sunday. This was Bob Foster versus Dick Tiger for the undisputed 2-belt light heavyweight championship. 2-belt era, 2 belts, meant the whole thing. Dick Tiger, when you talk about all-time underrated great fighters who don't get enough love, Dick Tiger basically fits that bill. I mean, his resume, he beat a lot of good ones. You talk about the 3-fight series with Gene Fulmer. Also has a tough fight with Emil Griffith. Won the middleweight championship both times. Holds a win over the standout Italian Nino Benuvini. And when he went up to light heavyweight to fight Jose Torres to have his crowning moment, it set the stage for this. Dick Tiger was one of those guys that always had a chip on his shoulder, wanted to prove to the whole world he belonged, and he certainly did. A guy who was chiseled and made out of stone. I mean, guys seldom hurt him. Now factor in Bob Foster. Built almost like a Tommy Hearns type light heavyweight. I mean, very lanky. Known for the vicious left hook. When he put it on you, you were on the canvas. But a very unique fighter with an 80-inch reach for a light heavyweight, and knew how to use it. I mean, this is just his ability to throw the left hook that put you down and out. He had the ability to find the range with the left hook, because he had the old school style ability to just casually bob and weave and use that left jab to set up that vicious left hook and put you on the canvas. He had 2 chances to fight at heavyweight before this, when he lost to Ernie Terrell and Zora Foley. So he goes back down to fight the standout Dick Tiger. Now, Tiger's removed from his 2 great wins at light heavyweight over Jose Torres to become the undisputed light heavyweight champ, which makes him a 3-time world champ in 2 weight classes. And going into this fight, he was at a massive size disadvantage. And I mean massive. You're talking about a 7.5-inch height disadvantage, where Foster had the advantage, and a 9-inch reach advantage for Bob Foster. And he basically utilized it to perfection. I mean, I mean, when I saw the replay of this several months back, it was basically almost like the equivalent of the story of the old Ant and the Aardvark. I mean, that's what this was. I mean, even Dick Tiger, you tell, like early on, knew he was in over his head. And when the fourth round came, the perfectly placed left hook by Foster that sent Tiger down and out for the count and made Foster the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. It escalated Foster to where he wanted to be among the all-time greats because it set off a reign of 14 successful title defenses and 13 different opponents, which was a record at the time. And nobody floored Dick Tiger the way Bob Foster did. It was one left hook, down he went, and the party was over. It was perfectly placed right on the point of the chin. And Dick Tiger was just a sensational fighter. Just the size of this fight was just too much because you're talking about a middleweight going up to light heavyweight who's fighting basically a natural light heavyweight who just fought at heavyweight not too long before this particular fight in Bob Foster. There's a reason why he was called a sheriff. He showed it on this night. The perfectly placed left hook to Tiger's chin, and Tiger was down and out for the count. But to set off Bob Foster's run as a light heavyweight, when you talk about Foster's place among all-time great light heavyweights, definitely top 7, top 8. Some people have it in the top 4 or 5. I can live with it. I mean, we talk about the guys there. You know, I bring this up before. Ezra Charles, Cincinnati's finest. Billy Conn, who probably had a better prime than Charles, but Charles's was not far behind, maybe the longer prime of the two. Of course, you can call him the Sandy Koufax of the division, Archie Moore. Excuse me, the Nolan Ryan of the division, and Archie Moore, who was greater and just kept plucking and plucking, got greater as he got older, which was a rarity during those times. I mean, Moore was a guy who was just plucking and plucking and plucking, and he finally hit pay dirt at age 39 when he beat Joey Maxim for the light heavyweight title. Tommy Loughran's another one. Fought a lot of good ones himself. Harry Greb, you know the story with him. The toy bulldog Mickey Walker's in there. Tiger Flores, even Bob Foster, Michael Spinks. People remember Michael Spinks for being obliterated by Mike Tyson in 91 seconds, which is a crying shame because Michael Spinks' legacy is always going to be the light heavyweight division. When he cleaned it out, when he ended it with just giving Dwight Muhammad Kawi a boxing lesson. So his name is up there. And yes, Bob Foster is in that category. We talk about 14 successful title defenses of the undisputed light heavyweight championship. He belongs. Of course, I could throw a boatload of names out there as well, but those are the ones that stick out when it comes to all-time great light heavyweights. And Bob Foster is on there. And it started 58 years ago at the Madison Square Garden when he floored the tough and durable Dick Tiger with one left hook, down and out for the count. And in the fourth round, in one of the most polarizing knockouts maybe in boxing history. Actually, Ring Magazine had a post about savage knockouts. That one's got to be in the conversation. Actually, if you guys want to pull up the Foster Tiger fight, pull it up because that left hook was perfection, and Tiger was just stretched out on the canvas. Said a lot because nobody did that to Dick Tiger. No one. Bob Foster was the first. And now the main event. This took place 60 years ago. This was forever known as the Phantom Punch. Took place at Lewiston, Maine. It was the rematch between Muhammad Ali and Sonny Liston. All kinds of conspiracy theories with this one. But let me just give you a bit of synopsis with this. This was a rematch of what took place 8 months before in Miami, Florida, where Ali just gave Sonny Liston a boxing lesson and a beating to where Liston quit on the stool at the end of the 7th round. They have a rematch up in northeastern of the United States in Lewiston, Maine. Referee for this fight was none other than the all-time great Jersey Joe Walcott. You guys know the story with Walcott fought Joe Louis twice, Marky Marciano twice, four fights with Ezra Charles, among others. Yes, that Jersey Joe Walcott was the referee of this fight. When you consider everything that happened in the first fight and the mob affiliations that Sonny Liston had, and I can go on and on with that. I won't use a platform to talk about it. But when you think about all the circumstances that built up, everything that happened in and out of the ring with Sonny Liston. And on this particular night, they basically, you could say a lot of things. We know what happened. The punch, the spin of the fist, and Ali screaming at Liston to get up. Of course, the iconic image where Ali just having his handed across a chest like this, screaming up the top of his lungs. Sonny Liston on the canvas. By the way, the image is by a guy named Neil Leifer, who perfected that image. It's on the internet. You can check it out. But we know what happened with this one. The 1-round TKO win for Muhammad Ali. Of course, it still sets questions 60 years later. Everyone's wondering what the frick happened. Everyone's saying he threw the fight. Everyone's saying Sonny Liston just made a business decision among many others. And the questionable refereeing by Walcott in this fight, which basically, when Liston got up, Walcott just stopped the fight on his own terms for reasons that nobody knows to this day. But the conspiracy theories is going to continue. I mean, I try to dig more up than what I can. Well, let's start with this. Nobody knew what Sonny Liston's age was, okay? I mean, it's still a mystery what Sonny Liston's age was going into both Ali fights. I mean, it's still a mystery. We all know that. On top of that, his affiliation with the mob, was he paid off? Did this happen? Did that happen? Maybe the fight was just beaten out of him by Ali in their first fight to where this happened. I mean, there's a correlation when we talk about getting the kind of boxing lesson and beating that Sonny Liston got by Ali 8 months before in Florida when they had the rematch in Lewiston, Maine. I mean, is it a factor? It is a factor. Is it the factor? Still something nobody knows. Everybody's going to, I mean, the conspiracy theories are out there. Some of them can be proven true. Some of them can't be proven true. I don't know. But the historical significance of this night, not just in boxing, but in sports and in culture, it's one of those things that has everyone at all walks of life talking. I mean, not just the fight fans and the fight aficionados. I mean, high-level sports columnists who cover other sports. I mean, actors, actresses, musicians, politicians, among many others. But it's the questions that will forever and ever and ever just draw some answers all over the place. Because even when I tried to figure out before I came on this show tonight, I couldn't even figure it out. The only conclusion I could come up with is the fact that, you know, he got floored. I mean, whether the punch was real or not, you can decide because they can trace it now, especially now with the 4K footage. You can probably find it now today as it is. But the question is always going to be, what were the circumstances that led to this? Before, during, and after, in and out of the ring? I mean, the mob affiliations, we all know that. I mean, was Sonny Liston on his downturn? Absolutely, because he just got the brakes beaten off of him by Ali. And of course, we talk about the stoppage. Jersey Joe Walcott got a little criticism for stopping the fight because Liston beat the count and the fight was stopped then, even though Liston looked like he could have continued. But the weird thing about this is after this fight, Jersey Joe Walcott became a boxing commissioner in one of the powerful states at the time, the state of New Jersey. We know the state of New Jersey's hosted some massive fights in boxing history, and he was a commissioner for the longest time. And of course, what happened here was for the first time ever, a new rule was instituted. Everybody knows this now in the sport of boxing. When you score a knockdown, you go to the neutral corner. And basically, when Ali went to the corner as Liston was getting up, the whole thing just became chaotic and messy. Didn't help anybody's cause, but also didn't help Sonny Liston's cause when he decided to lay an egg in Lewiston, Maine 60 years ago, because every conspiracy theory you want to come up with, have at it. But the final conclusion is he laid an egg in Lewiston, Maine, and he probably wasn't going to beat Ali in the rematch anyway because Ali all of a sudden became a sizable favorite. Now, this is a flip-flop from what took place 8 months ago before that in Miami in 1964 when, it was more than 8 months ago, about a year and a half ago before, actually, let me backtrack. A year and a half before the rematch took place when Liston was a 6-1 favorite, which was the biggest betting odds at the time. And Ali shocked the world. At the time, it was the biggest upset in boxing history. And Sonny Liston will always be one of the biggest pariahs, maybe in all walks of life, just polarizing and in that aspect. What happened on this night, I mean, everybody's going to draw their conclusions. Did he take a dive? Was his affiliations with the mob? Was he paid to take a dive? There's going to be all kinds of conspiracy theories. I said all along, you just cough it up to one simple thing. He laid an egg in Lewiston, Maine when he had a chance for redemption and bothered to not show up. I mean, even Ali just screaming at him to get up. I mean, this is very, very crazy stuff. I'm going to pull this here. Basically, there's still people thinking the first fight between Ali and Liston was fixed, which I don't know how that was because Ali just did anything and everything he wanted to. So you go to the second fight. I mean, Ali was already confident the first time because he beat him already. He was confident the second time. And basically, within the first 30 seconds of the fight, the speed of Ali was just too much. And you know what happened? The timely right hand over a lazy lunging jab by Liston. And, of course, the iconic image that took place. He gets up, fight stopped, and the questions will forever linger. There's so many places we could go with this particular event, and a lot of people do it. There's no conclusive answer. Everybody's still trying to tell me that he threw the fight. Fair enough. Everybody knows I don't partake in conspiracy theories because that's for people who don't know how to put math together. But maybe Sonny Liston just had the fight taken out of him when he quit on the stool, when he fought Ali a year and a half before in Miami, Florida, February 25th, 1964. That's the only thing I could come up with. Everyone's going to have their conclusions. Everyone's going to have their conspiracy theories, understandably and rightfully so. I get it. I've never been a conspiracy theorist. That's never been my motto. The thing is, I said all along, I mean, when you have the fight being out of here like that, especially a guy like Sonny Liston, who was the most feared fighter in the sport at the time, he scared everyone. Nobody wanted to touch Sonny Liston for the longest time. I mean, shoot, it took Floyd Patterson and his people a while before they finally got the two fights with Sonny Liston put together. And when that happened, Liston just bum rushed him. That's to tell you how intimidating Sonny Liston was. Ali wasn't never intimidated. And when he beat Liston the first time, he was confident, and his confidence was through the roof, telling the whole world he shocked the world. So he goes into the rematch more confident than he was for the first fight. And when the speed factor just took over, that was all she wrote. That's the only thing I could come up with. You know, he gets dives, mobs. Okay, how about it? But does it excuse Sonny Liston no showing, trying to throw a crazy lunging left jab out of nowhere? We know Sonny Liston's bread and butter has always been that left jab coming forward. I mean, that's what he used to pepper the crap out of Floyd Patterson. We're going to get some crazy answers from now till the end of life. And it'll be the year 3025, and there'll be people trying to dig up answers and footage about what took place in Lewiston, Maine 60 years ago when these two had the rematch. And one of the most controversial, one of the most polarizing, and one of the more surreal and really questionable circumstances that took place all the way around. I mean, not only was the fight took place, but Jersey Joe Walcott, an all-time great heavyweight who refereed that fight, wasn't necessarily the greatest, but somehow it spun off to him being a commissioner in the state of New Jersey after this. Interesting. I mean, everybody can go all over the place with this. Still, the most iconic image, maybe ever, was the image of Muhammad Ali just with a fist screaming off the top of his lungs to Sonny Liston to get up, and there's the image of Liston on the canvas. Everybody in all walks of life still talking about it. Everyone's coming up with their own. Everyone's coming up with whatever they want to come up with it. I get it. I understand it. I've never been a conspiracy theorist, so I don't venture that platform just simply because there's too much to intake, especially when you talk about something that took place 6 decades ago. I mean, as much as people want to leave it, it's just fascinating. Here we are in 2025, and when the image came up of Ali, over Liston, people 6 decades later are still talking about it, still making their own theories as to what happened, and it's just fascinating. 6 decades later. I mean, it's one of the weirdest things I ever had to talk about, because when I wanted to talk about this the other night, I wasn't even prepared for it. But even as I'm talking about it now, I'm still trying to dig up what happened. It's just that confusing because a lot of people are going to draw their conclusions in their own unique way. I mean, this opens the firestorm for conspiracy theorists to say whatever. Now we know what happened in the end with Sonny Liston. Unfortunately, the greatness of Ali continues. Their 2-fight series etched in history, but the second fight, it says fireworks all over the place. You're gonna have people saying he took a dive, people saying he didn't take a dive, people saying this happened, people saying that happened, people saying the mob affiliation, whatever. Doesn't deter the fact that what happened 60 years ago today was that Muhammad Ali won a first-round knockout over Sonny Liston. That's the official result. That's the part that's never going to change. So, I mean, we're still talking about it 6 decades later. I mean, I wasn't even born. I mean, my parents were in their teenage years when this historical event took place. I mean, we are talking about all-time history here, 60 years ago. I mean, Ali's place in history is forever secure. Sonny Liston falls in that category of what might have been fighter, because we know the mob affiliations, his own battles with substance abuse, and basically after the two fight series with Ali, it was basically a downturn for him after that. There's actually a Showtime. If you have the Showtime app on your phones or whatever, there's actually a documentary on Sonny Liston that's chronicled. Guest appearance in that one is Mike Tyson, because the parallels of Liston and Tyson almost eerie similar. I mean, Tyson didn't have the mob affiliations as Liston did. Tyson had the affiliations with Don King. Maybe you can call Don King the mob back then. It's crazy how we talk about stuff 60 years later, 6 decades later, same thing. And we're still asking questions. What happened? I mean, nobody knows what really happened. This is a bunch of theories. There's a bunch of theories. Not saying someone is right or someone is wrong, because, I mean, it's still no real foregone conclusion. I mean, the question was, how old was Sonny Liston? Because there are people saying he lied about his age for both of those fights with Muhammad Ali. I mean, he just got old and old real quick. It's probably the only way I can come up with. All the other stuff is just theoretical assumptions at this point that we can't draw real conclusions to. I get it. I understand it. But everybody knows I refuse to partake in conspiracy theories, because it's more based on circumstantial assumptions that doesn't draw real conclusions. Not saying he did or didn't take a dive, but I don't know enough, and I need to know more. Crazy, we're still talking about this 6 decades later. I mean, the place for this event probably stands alone on its own. I mean, we talk about all controversies of judges scoring. We could talk about the fiasco with 2 seconds left with Chavez and Taylor. None of that compares to all the controversy or the baloney that took place 60 years ago in Lewiston, Maine, because people are still asking questions and still drawing their own conclusions. Crazy. Never thought I'd live the day to talk about a particular event like that, because I hate conspiracy theories. I hate it. Reason being, it almost like some weird bias that goes on. Not just with Ali Liston too. I get it. All sports, all walks of life. I mean, the question I have about conspiracy theories is, what's your conclusion and where's the evidence? That's why I always tell everyone, because I've never been a conspiracy theorist. I go by what I see. I go by what I read. And because I take my role as an analyst as opposed to an insider or anything else, I make my own conclusions. Not saying you have to agree or disagree with me, because I open the platform for disagreements. I mean, you're more welcome to disagree with me. That's fine. But I'm not going to draw the conclusions some people do, because they think because of something superstitious in their minds that they can come up with that they're correct. I don't fall for that. That's one thing I learned way back when I covered the fight game. It's something I've learned when I come back to this, especially when I cover other sports, especially the NFL, where there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on. I don't partake. I let my eyes do the dictating. And that'll wrap up this edition of Sirhan on X. I hope everyone out there has themselves a wonderful rest of the 26th of May, 2025. As always, make self-care your number one priority in life. Always take care of yourself first before you take care of anything else. If you take care of yourself first, good things will come your way. If you don't take care of yourself first, nothing else in life matters. Have a good rest of the night. Take care. God bless and enjoy the evening.